It was called a multi-vortex tornado. Imagine the tornado as it comes down from the cloud. You know, the typical setup where you see the funnel cloud that goes from the cloud and touches the ground, and there's your tornado. Well, when you have a massive tornado, one that, as reported, was 1 mile in diameter, not only do you have one rotation, but you have these littler rotations within these larger tornadoes. So it's called a multi-vortex tornado because it has multiple vortexes or multiple funnels within the larger system. So these are the ones that have been plaguing the whole area. One hits here, all part of this bigger system.
Okay. MSNBC meteorologist Dylan Dreyer, thank you for helping us understand this. We will be back with you. Now I want to bring into the conversation the mayor of Oklahoma City, Mick Cornett. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us tonight. What should the country know about the conditions right now in your city, excuse me?
Well, inside the city, it appears so far that we've been largely spared. We've had high winds, some hail. Our city limits are expansive, and so far we've not been able to verify that any tornado touched down inside the city. I know it touched down prior to reaching the city, and it appears that after it left Oklahoma City limits, it's touched down again. But Oklahoma City, it appears at this point, has been spared. But again, the night's not over, and the damage has not still been all collected.
In terms of how safe Oklahoma City should feel, are you being advised, and are you indeed advising your residents that the worst may be over, or that at this point there's no reason to think of this as an all clear because the storm is still present?
Yeah, I think we don't want to be naive.
Yeah.
It appears, but to answer your question, it does feel like the worst is over, but we know better than to take that for granted. So people are tuned into the media. There is some significant power outages, so a lot of people are probably on their cell phones taking in the media. But overall, you know, the sun it's still too cloudy to see it, but the skies are still light to the west, and that's a good sign. It was much darker an hour ago than it is now.
From the storm experience that you have had, and the heavy rains and the hail and the straight line winds and everything else associated with this storm, obviously we've heard reports of some localized flooding. That's got to affect the ability of rescue crews and first responders to get around. It presumably affects evacuation rules as well. Can you tell us anything about the state of the roads in and around the city?
Well, I think there is some localized flooding, like you said. There are probably some pockets for the flooding, but it typically doesn't flood very long in Oklahoma City. Once it stops raining, it recedes very quickly. So I think any flooding would be very short term.
Do you feel that the city had adequate preparation and that people took shelter? We've heard a lot of reports about businesses closing early and people taking care of relatively early on in the afternoon today.
Yeah, I mean, we basically had 48 hours to prepare. They've been telling us that this is going to be a high likelihood of storms. I was surprised so many people, though, ended up on the streets. I see people in cars, and, you know, the interstates kind of got packed. People were trying to move. That's fairly new, and I wonder if it's not a repercussion of the Moore tornado a couple of weeks ago. People were so frightened they just wanted to get out of the way, and when you have, you know, tens of thousands of people getting into their cars, that's the worst place for them to be. That surprises me and scares me. People should get in their facilities. They should get low. They should get in the interior part of their house. They don't need to be in their cars, and that typically doesn't happen.
Mayor Mick Cornett of Oklahoma City, obviously still in the thick of it, looking at the size of this storm system, but I'm glad to hear that you feel like you've dodged the worst of the bullet here, sir. Thank you. Please stay in touch with us over the course of the night.
Will do.
Thank you. We're going to dip back now to KFOR, which is the NBC affiliate in Oklahoma City, with their local coverage.
We have Mark Dillard on the Gentner.
Yes, Mike.
Go, Mark.
Yes, I'm on Alameda now, heading east, trying to stay up with the circulation that's going to be off. I believe it's going to be just to my south and east from what my winds are doing, which are whipping from north to south. So I'm just passing 60th now. Got a lot of traffic coming up, and I'm sure Highway 9 is jammed up with traffic. Passing 60th on Alameda, heading east, trying to stay up with the circulation center that was cutting across Norman, causing some power flashes and likely some damage down in the Norman area. So, Mike, I'm going to continue to track this over to Shawnee, Dale, and the Tecumseh area. Back to you.
Okay, appreciate that. So this circulation here on the east side of Norman, let's go to the storm tracker. You see clearly still a hook here. and still a hook here. There's Norman, here's Noble, and it's still a hook traveling over here toward Little Axe, Highway 9 here. There's Little Axe and the casino there, Thunderbird Casino. That's Thunderbird right there. So it's in that exact area right now, traveling to the southeast on down into southern Pottawatomie County. So Cleveland County, Pottawatomie County here, tornado warning with this one. And then let's go to the storm scanner and over here to the east, this circulation here coming into Shawnee, tornado warning with that one as well. This is mainly a lot of hail and rain here, still getting reports of golf balls and larger size hail in the South Metro right here. North Metro's in pretty good shape right now. Logan County's in good shape. Kingfisher County's in good shape. There's no activity going on in north central Oklahoma right now. All the action is literally right here. These two storms here, this one, East Norman, and this one coming into Shawnee, both very significant circulations there, may produce additional tornadoes as they move southeast. And then this one right here, mainly severe thunderstorms, large hail, damaging winds, and flooding rainfall back to the west. I think we can talk to John Welsh. What John is doing, I'll tell you what, then let's go back to, can we go back to Meg and Kev here with any updates that you might have?
All right, thank you very much. And again, major problem today, this evening, the flash flooding has caused big problems for everybody.
It really has.
People can't get anywhere, and emergency crews are having trouble getting to the victims they need to attend to, and obviously power outages all over. We had reports of 40,000 plus. We're following that very closely. The crews probably having a tough time getting out to deal with that as well. And we just went to the on-cue with Latasha and saw that people had broken down a door to get in there to take cover, which you can understand after what happened last week.
Absolutely. Let's go to Lance West on the phone with us right now. There's that shot of on-cue with the rain coming down. And Lance, I noticed one of your tweets earlier. You said one of the major highways, maybe it was I-40, it looks like a demolition derby area out there at one point.
Well, it sure does, Kev. There are cars everywhere, and I have an unfortunate bit of information to pass along. There has been a confirmed double fatality. A white Pontiac, Montana SUV was thrown off the interstate upside down, and we know that a mother and her baby were both killed in this accident. The Highway Patrol has just removed the victims. Traffic out here is at a standstill in the eastbound lanes of I-40, just to the west of Banner Road, and it is absolute chaos out here. Cars are, again, at a standstill. There are semis that are turned over. The truck stop, or the truck checkpoint where semis come through the weigh station, was decimated. There are some farms out here that have been destroyed. There is debris all over the interstate. Trees have been split in half. There's a building, and I'm not sure what it is. It looks like they sell some sort of industrial equipment. It says Performance something, but half the building has been sort of torn away, so I can't make out the entire sign. But a lot of destruction out here today. And again, tragically, I tell you, with a heavy heart, we had a double fatality. A mom and her baby killed in this accident as the car was flipped off the interstate about an hour ago.
Oh, man.
Right.
I just hate hearing that.
Thank you, Lance. We
all right,
appreciate that. And I'm afraid we're going to hear more. I hope no more fatalities, but I do think we're going to have some serious injuries from people in vehicles today.
So many people on that highway. It's such a busy highway out there, of course. I-40, I-35 as well, and a lot of cars were affected by that.
Take a look at this picture here on Weekend 2. This was Mike Bettis. Not Mike Bennett, but Mike Bettis's car on
From the
Weekend 2.
Weather Channel, yes.
Yeah, from the Weather Channel. You know, this is his, what does it say, Tornado Hunt 2013. Mike Bettis is okay. Emily was actually physically talking to him about an hour and a half ago. This is out where Lance West is located right now, and of course you saw all the video, and you know, we're showing you that monster tornado out there. This is that whole area out by I-40 in the immediate El Reno Banner Road area, El Reno Airport, all in through there. The problem was it made a violent turn. You likely saw it if you're watching. It made a violent and rapid turn, and it absolutely caught all these folks that do this kind of stuff. You know, it caught them off guard, and it frankly ran over them. And Mike Bettis's, not Mike Bennett, but Mike Bettis's Weather Channel Tornado Hunt 2013 truck is smashed. So this is out very close to where that unfortunate double fatality occurred.
Yeah, it looks like, and you said, Mike, that it looked like that tornado took a real quick
from
right turn to the
KFOR,
south.
from the Oklahoma City affiliate of NBC, obviously doing excellent local coverage of this. But repeating the news that they just broke there, again, this is according to KFOR in Oklahoma City. They are describing a double fatality in a vehicle on Interstate 40. Interstate 40 has been shut down. Their reporters for KFOR are describing essentially a scene that looks like a demolition derby, was the phrase they used, on Interstate 40. Numerous vehicles overturned, a lot of debris on the road. And now, sadly, they're describing a double fatality, a mother and infant killed in a vehicle on closed Interstate 40. That stretch of roadway itself seems to have been sort of a path for at least some of these tornadoes and a place where a lot of people got caught out in trouble. I want to bring in MSNBC meteorologist Dylan Dreyer. Dylan, what is the latest on the tornado's trajectory and the overall direction of this storm?
Well, the general direction of this whole storm, I mean, the one that stretches from Illinois right back into Oklahoma, it's this slow-moving cold front that's moving very slowly to the east. And this was the area of concern today where we knew we would see very strong thunderstorms and an isolated area back through Oklahoma where we would see those very strong tornadoes, which obviously has all played out. And a closer look shows you that the tornado watch boxes extend all the way up into parts of Illinois. We've had reported tornadoes in Wisconsin through Illinois. We have some in the St. Louis area and, of course, back into Oklahoma City where the threat was actually heightened. It was a potentially dangerous situation type of tornado watch that was issued hours ago. So that's why there was so much notice in advance that these storms, not only would they be tornadoes, but we would see very strong, very slow-moving, powerful tornadoes. So this is all out in advance of this cold front. It's that very warm, moist air coming in off of the Gulf of Mexico and cool, dry air behind it. And it's that clash that unfortunately is going nowhere fast. And tomorrow that threat moves into the Midwest. And unfortunately, this setup does not exit the United States until Sunday night and into Monday morning.
Forgive me my ignorance on this, but is it unusual to have a storm system that's this big that is causing tornadoes in this wide of an area? It just seems to me to be a massive, massive system. Have I just not been paying attention and it's been like this all the time, or is this an unusually big storm? It's an unusually big storm, and it's hitting very populated areas. I think that's the biggest issue here. You know, a lot of times we have these tornadoes. It's Tornado Alley after all, so this is a typical setup, but they're fast-moving cold fronts. They hit mostly rural areas, but now we're talking about Oklahoma City, St. Louis, areas across Illinois, very populated areas with this setup, and it is an unusually slow-moving system that is just wreaking havoc in the Midwest and back through the plains. MSNBC meteorologist Dylan Dreyer. Dylan, thank you very much. We're going to go back now to NBC's affiliate in Oklahoma City, KFOR.
Seems to have gone down. I could see it. We could see the wheels. So it's only about halfway up the wheels, but when we originally were there, it was much higher, and it was almost kind of coming up through the doors.
Adam,
and this is as we were trying to just get off the road.
Yeah, Adam, you guys be careful out there, and we'll check back with you in that situation out there. Let's go to Betsy Randolph with the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Betsy, bring us up to date on the situation. We know it's not good.
No, it's not good. Unfortunately, I can confirm that there have been 2 fatalities, a mother and a baby, somewhere on I-40, somewhere between El Reno and Yukon, Mustang area. Just a heartbreaking deal. We try to tell people not to drive into the storms, and this may have been one of those deals where there was little or no notice, no warning, and it's just so gut-wrenching and it's so heartbreaking. We've got multiple crashes that are working right now all over the metro. This includes Mustang, El Reno, Yukon, Oklahoma City, Moore, and now into Norman. We're stopping traffic on I-35 coming north. We're stopping them and turning them around and sending them back south, and that's for sale. We're asking everyone that's on I-40, anywhere around the Oklahoma City metro area, that if you do not have to be on the highway, do not get on I-40 right now. Do not get on I-35 in the Oklahoma City metro area. Divert, seek shelter. Do not get on the interstate right now.
All right. Well, we appreciate that. We'll come back to you in a little bit this evening and get another update. But again, we need our viewers to heed your word. Thank you very much. That's Trooper Betsy Randolph.
Let's go back to Mike in the Forewarned Storm Center.
Kevin,
Mike.
what we still have these two dangerous storms here, and they are still quite possibly tornado producers. There's one coming into North Shawnee right now that is with a tornado warning in effect. We're not forgetting about you folks. It is this area here in Shawnee. It's North Shawnee right now. It's moving east-southeast. So OBU, Shawnee, and then from there, we're going to be talking about over toward Earlsboro. But OBU and Shawnee, right there, you see the time of arrival there. The motion on it is to the east-southeast at about 28 to 30 miles an hour. That is a strong circulation there. Still a tornado warning for Pottawatomie County. You want to stay in your safe spot where you are. No doubt about it. That is a tornado warning for Pottawatomie County. The other one also has a tornado warning on it, Cleveland County, and this is going to be right in here to the west of Tribby and Macomb. And it's going to be traveling on down toward Asher and St. Louis. That's the one that had the tornado damage, power flashes and such down through Moore, on down through Norman. It is now down on the eastern side of Lake Thunderbird is where it is right now, very close to Little Axe, east side of Little Axe. And it's going to be traveling into central Pottawatomie County and maybe down through southern Pottawatomie County. So we have one on the north side of Shawnee coming into Shawnee right now, and we have one to the south of Tecumseh, just barely south of Tecumseh, and that has a tornado warning on it as well. These two storms are still very, very dangerous. Flash flood warnings, a tremendous amount of lightning, still a lot of large hail back in the southeast sides of Oklahoma City, just east of Norman, just to the east of Moore as well. And then back to the west, there is still severe thunderstorm activity with mainly large hail and some damaging winds and flooding rainfall further back to the west, and that's over Mustang and Union City and Blanchard. And right now this is mainly just a severe thunderstorm here. It is not a tornado warned storm. Let's go to the watches and warnings right now. We can show this to you. So we have Grady severe, McLean severe, and then Cleveland tornado. I think we can take Oklahoma County out of the tornado. That was for the one that came out of coming into Shawnee right now. It just moved out of Oklahoma County. So I think we can safely drop Oklahoma County from the tornado warning. I think that's very safe to say that right now because it's moved out of Oklahoma County. And that was the one down by the GM plant. Mark Dillard was talking about it all in through there, over toward Stella and down toward New Orleans and such. Well, it's moved out of Oklahoma County now. So then we're talking about Pottawatomie County. So Pottawatomie and Cleveland, two storms. Tornado warnings for both those counties. Back to the west, more heavy rain and hail. We're going to check in with our storm trackers, Kevin and Meg. Be right back with you.
All right, thank you, Mike. Now, just moments ago, we talked to Lance West. He had told us about a business that he had seen part of it was destroyed. We now know a little bit more about that. It was called Performance Technology,
right,
and I believe it was a 3715 South Radio Road.
They had 8 employees in there. They took shelter. The storm did come through and damaged part of the building, blew some of it away. They had a little bit of a gas leak and a fire. They were able to get that out. Everybody okay, so that's the good news on that.
That's right.
Let's go to Courtney Francisco for an update right now. Courtney.
Yes, I'm on eastbound I-40 in El Reno, and I'm right now passing my 3 overturned semi-trucks here on the highway. Traffic is backed up really far, and in the median, all you can see is just piles of sheet metal and debris. And crews are working to get these semis turned upright so they can clear them off of the highway. And there is a barn further up. It looks like some sort of barn that is completely destroyed out here, and light poles leveled to the ground. It looks like all kinds of debris and a little bit of flooding in the median as well, so folks have to be extra careful as the rainwater is piling up in the median right now.
Boy, it rained like the dickens here at the station, and we were talking about, Courtney, the flooding problem that was going to erupt in the metro area, and you're seeing it firsthand out there, even in the West Metro.
That's right. It is piling up.
You know, it's kind of the aftermath that you don't think about when you're thinking about tornadoes. All right, well, thank you. Courtney Francisco reporting live near El Reno. And, you know, the thing is, Kevin, with both the tornadoes we had Sunday in the Shawnee, Bethel Acres area, and then, of course, the one we had in Moore, and then what we just had happen today, these are hitting major highways, I-40, I-35. The minute we are dealing with that,
we're going to go right now, actually. This is KFOR. This is the Oklahoma City affiliate, the NBC affiliate there is doing just incredible work. But I want to go right now to I-40, to George McGinnis, who is a storm chaser right now, who is, as far as I understand, is out on I-40 east of Oklahoma City, which we keep being told is not a very smart place to be right now. George is there to witness the storms. George, what can you see and what have you seen?
Well, right now with it getting dark, it's difficult to see anything. We are on I-40 just east of Shawnee, watching the tornadic storm as it approaches this area. They still do have an active tornado warning on it, but visually we do not see anything at this time. Now, earlier when the storms were coming through Oklahoma City, the south sides of Oklahoma City, we did catch the area where the tornado was believed to be and did video quite a few power flashes indicating that possibly it was on the ground doing damage. We were near Lake Stanley Draper, looking back to our northwest from that location along I-240 between Sooner Road and I-35 as it moves through that area.
George, in terms of your location right now on I-40 East, what can you tell us about the condition just on the roadway and how many people are around in that area?
Well, traffic is quite heavy, both east and westbound on I-40 from about the Choctaw area east towards Shawnee. A lot of people trying to, what appeared to be possibly trying to leave the Oklahoma City area as the tornadic storms were moving through. It is starting to thin out a little bit, but traffic is still very heavy east and westbound.
The only two confirmed fatalities, I should not say only, the two confirmed fatalities that we have heard reported from KFOR and now confirmed by the Oklahoma Highway Patrol did happen on Interstate 40. A woman and her infant child killed in a car that got caught up in the storm. Are you seeing debris or have you seen overturned vehicles out there?
Not on the not through the west side or east sides of Oklahoma City and out east. The area that we're just referring to, I believe, was more on the west sides of Oklahoma City on I-40 as it got out towards the El Reno area, which is the suburbs to the west of Oklahoma City.
George McGinnis, storm chaser out there in the thick of it tonight. George, thanks for being with us. Appreciate your time, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Stay safe. Joining us now is Jamie Shelton, who is a spokesman for the mayor's office in Moore, Oklahoma. Obviously, everybody in the country has been concerned about Moore with what happened there last week and now seeing it in the path of the storm again tonight. Mr. Shelton, what can you tell us about how Moore has fared in this latest round of storms?
What I'm hearing is there's lots of reports of flooding on residential streets, and there is a report of one house fire in the community. I do not have any reports of new damage from any touchdowns of tornadoes in the city limits. That's all very preliminary.
Jamie, in terms of the continuing recovery efforts from last week, do you know if in advance of this new round of bad weather that came through today, if presumably people were cleared out, I imagine it's harder to find a safe place to be in Moore after what you went through last week?
That's correct. Volunteers that were working in areas of the May 20 tornado were moved out early. We were watching the weather the entire day. The National Weather Center, which is located in Norman, is maybe 15 miles from Moore. And so we have, the best people in the world giving us information to make sure that we can communicate to our citizens.
In terms of any continuing threat to Moore, are you still being advised that there may be heavy weather ahead? There may still be dangerous situation in your city?
I believe that the entire central Oklahoma area is still under, severe weather and storm watches and warnings. So we're just watching exactly what the National Weather Center is putting out and making sure that our citizens are aware of that, and we're prepared to alert them of possible danger.
Jamie Shelton, spokesman for the mayor's office in Moore, Oklahoma. Thank you for your time tonight, and stay safe as always. Thank you, sir.
Rachel.
All right, let's go back now to NBC's affiliate in Oklahoma City, to KFOR.
Fatality up here on I-40, but down through here where it made this big dip and then this strong northward turn, it this is where we had a lot of folks get run over by that tornado. Emily Sutton was talking about it. Reed Timmer was talking about it. Now, here's the preliminary tornado tracks for Oklahoma City. The one developed near the Xerox plant. And this is earlier, and then it went down through South Oklahoma City, and then we had the second tornado form South Del City, very close to Crossroads Mall, and travel down 240. So these were the two tornadoes in Oklahoma City proper, and then we had some wind damage, weak tornado damage of some kind down through Moore and Norman as well, and we'll have to kind of see as the data comes in how that's going to go. Let's go back to the storm tracker. We're going to talk to Mike Bennett now. Mike Bennett, we know you're okay. Mike Bettis with the Weather Channel was hit by the tornado, but you're fine.
Yeah, Mike. My phone's been ringing off the wall. We're good. We're sitting we're on 177 just south of Shawnee, on the southern edge of Shawnee, looking north. And I'll tell you what, Mike, we don't have any daylight anymore, and so all we can rely on is power flashes. I'm not seeing any. I had I believe I had a lowering just to my northwest just about 3 or 4 minutes ago. It's gone. Rain is starting to wrap in on us. About the time I saw that, I had a blast of wind straight out of the west, so I thought, okay, here we go. We got RFD coming in. It's getting ready to spin down. But now rain's folding in on us, and I'm just losing visibility on it. But no power flashes. Doesn't mean there's not anything on the ground or going to be on the ground, but right now I don't see any power flashes, which would be our only indicator. Was that a power flash? Or was that lightning?
And Mike Bennett is talking about the circulation that is on the northern side of Shawnee right now. Mike, would you verify with me the center of that rotation is on the northern side of Shawnee near I-40?
Yeah, that's hard. It's hard for us to figure out, Mike, too. That's one thing we've had a hard time getting our bearings on this storm since we've been here is because of that. But I don't know, Mike. It's hard for us to identify any area that's rotating because we just lose the visibility.
Okay, that's Mike Bennett, who's just fine. Mike Bennett is just fine. Mike Bettis with the Weather Channel, his car was crushed by that tornado out near El Reno earlier, but he's okay. At least he's reasonably okay. He was standing up and talking to Emily a couple hours ago. So
let's go now to Greg Carbon, who's at the NOAA Storm Prediction Center, which is in Norman, Oklahoma, which itself is right in the thick of it. Mr. Carbon, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate your time and your expertise, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Rachel.
First of all, can you tell us about the conditions directly where you are in Norman and how Norman has fared in this storm tonight?
We've lost power in parts of Norman. It seems that some high winds or perhaps lightning may have taken out the power a little while ago. We're still experiencing some pretty gusty winds and occasionally torrential rain. It does appear as if the tornado threat has diminished quite a bit. The storm complex that originally brought tornadoes to Oklahoma City is now gusted out, and the cold air associated with massive amounts of rain is now basically cutting off the inflows of this storm and likely producing an environment that's less favorable for tornadoes.
Okay, so cutting off the inflow, a less favorable environment over the course of the night. When will that become more clear? Over how much time do you need to see that as a continuing trend before you decide that's what's happened?
Well, about an hour ago, I was asked that question, and I said we probably have about another hour of relatively high potential for tornadic storms, but then it would begin to diminish as we went into the nighttime hours, and it looks like that's occurring. There's always that remote possibility that you can still get a brief spin up. We've got strong winds still coming out of this complex of storms that can produce almost as much damage as a tornado. So it's not over yet, and there's a significant heavy rainfall problem as well because there's tremendous moisture in the atmosphere, and these storms are going to continue overnight to produce very heavy rain.
Greg, one of the things that we've been able to see is the large scale of this overall storm system reaching many states north of Oklahoma, just across like a belt across the country. Do you expect that these kind of strong storms that we have seen, these kinds of tornadoes, are going to be a characteristic of this storm system across the country, both overnight and into tomorrow?
Well, we're going to see this whole system start to move. I mean, it's been relatively stationary the past 2 or 3 days. The frontal boundary that's really triggering the thunderstorm activity, basically from the upper Mississippi Valley across the southern plains tonight, is actually going to start to move. We're going to see thunderstorms progress eastward each day, and actually may see a threat even up into New England and the Northeast come Sunday. Eventually, that front will reach the East Coast, and we'll be done with it. And it looks like some better weather's ahead, especially for the weekend and into early next week for the southern plains and the central U.S.
In terms of the overall how dangerous the overall situation is tonight, describing this system essentially becoming less dangerous in the Oklahoma City area, is there any place else tonight where you expect it might eventually become dangerous?
Well, one of the problems is we may transition, or we already have transitioned into what could be a dangerous flooding situation, especially in the urban areas around Oklahoma City. So they were hit with the tornadoes earlier, and they've had up to 6 inches, 7 inches of rainfall. Whenever you do that in an urban area, you've got real problems because traffic can get stranded and you can have flooding. And so we may see a transition here from what was a wind or tornado threat to more of a flooding threat overnight. The wind threat probably will continue east across Tulsa into parts of Missouri, northwest Arkansas throughout the night tonight. We're not out of the woods yet.
Greg Carbon from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in Norman, Oklahoma tonight. Thank you, sir, for joining us tonight. I am glad you have the job that you have. Please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
In terms of what's happened tonight in Oklahoma City, in terms of the damage reports, it's